Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to be speaking about intuitive eating, and to do this with me, I have a very special guest speaker, Miss Nandani Samuel. Hi, Nandani, and welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Are you excited?
Of course I am.
I'm always excited to do work with you. So, Nandani, can you tell everyone about yourself?
So I'm Nandani Samuel, a registered dietitian specializing in renal nutrition and also a diabetes educator.
Lovely. So today we're going to be discussing, as I said, intuitive eating. And just for a little background, this term was actually coined in 1995 by a registered dietitian like ourselves, as well as a nutrition therapist. And they basically outlined 10 principles that, is very helpful, or what you can use now as a guide to actually practice intuitive eating.
Right.
When you say intuitive eating, the first thing that pops into your head?
Using your intuition.
Exactly. That sort of like gut feeling, or your cues, your internal, that dialogue that you have inside, in terms of like how you feel at that moment or what you should be eating. However, after so many years of learning about food on social media or persons saying different things, we have developed basically like an unhealthy relationship towards food.
And that's where diet culture would come in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think after, as I said, so many years of this learned behavior, actually trying to unlearn those things and reject diet culture, that could actually be a very difficult task.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we don't even know that it's diet culture. It's so subtle, and simple things. For example, you may see on social media persons post what they eat in a day.
Exactly.
Have you seen those?
I've seen those all the time.
And what are your thoughts? And obviously some of them are really real in terms of what they eat, but most of them, what is your first impression?
Most times it's something for social media and not what they actually eat.
Exactly.
And I think it's something that would hold a negative view regardless, because you are going to follow this person, obviously. Not so the concept in mind that, okay, if I am eating these things, I can't have certain things as well.
Exactly. And what I think too is that a lot of the times, what I see personally, they're unrealistic.
Definitely.
These extremely small portions, or maybe they only eat like twice for the day.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at that and you try to fit yourself in this
Into
box.
that,
But we both know nutrition is an individualized approach, and not everything. You can fit everybody in that same box. So what may work for that person
may not work for another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that brings me to this question. How do we now start to reject diet culture and actually embrace our intuition?
So I think it's very important to reject diet culture. Recently I was actually reading something where you want to lose 10 pounds in a week, follow water diet. And I find that was something that, it is going to have an impact on your health regardless, because your body needs nutrition to function. Rejecting diet culture means putting into place what your body needs. So if you are feeling hungry, eat something. You're not going to, because diet culture is giving you a time frame. I must not eat after 8 p.m. in the night.
Or I can't have this.
Or I can't have certain things. But when you reject it, it means that's where intuitive eating would come in. Okay, I am feeling hungry at this very moment. I need something to eat. Regardless of what it is. You are fulfilling that need, what your body is asking you for.
That's a good point. You actually spoke about two principles there in the intuitive eating guidelines, in terms of, we need to start rejecting diet culture by reframing how we speak. And the language that we use, not saying I can't have this, or I can't. For example, I hear a lot of people say, I can't eat after, let's say, 7 p.m.
Right.
But what if like an accident happened on your way home, in terms of it causes a lot of traffic, and you reach home, let's say 8 o'clock? Is it that you're not going to eat because you missed that window? It's just not practical to always, be saying those sorts of things. And then you also spoke about honoring your hunger, which is
it's important, because when you're hungry, your body starts feeling, you get lightheaded maybe. Or maybe you get that stomach grumbling happening. are you going to wait? Like right now on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably 5. I'm not going to wait till 10 o'clock tonight to have something. Obviously, you need to honor when you're hungry and have food at that time. Even if it's not in the same exact time because you may be at work or in a meeting, try to have food right after.
Exactly. And also to add to that, sometimes, persons may believe, I should not have any snacks in between my meals.
Yeah.
So then let's say you have breakfast and at 10 o'clock you are hungry. Yeah. Your stomach is starting to make sounds, but you choose to ignore it because in your mind you would have already programmed yourself or told yourself, I should not or I cannot eat in between my meals.
So it's important to make peace with food because you have to, why do we eat? We eat because we want to feel full and we need food to function for energy, to give us that nutrient our body needs to function. So it's very important to make peace with food and also challenge the food police. I mean, in a general setting, they call dietitians food police, right? They say we look at everything. I mean, that's not always true. I would go out into a restaurant and maybe have a slice of pizza or maybe a donut. If somebody sees me, you're not supposed to be eating that. So it's not about not eating certain foods. Having it in moderation is okay. But when you are craving certain things, and I think that's a topic as well, when you are craving certain things, it's to fulfill that need with whatever it is. Maybe a chow or maybe a slice of cake or whatever the case is. It's what your body is calling for at that time.
And you bring up such an important point. Sometimes we try to restrict ourselves too heavily and we think, as you said, end your war with food.
Yeah.
Everything has its place and it's not that you're eating this specific food, let's say the chocolate, every day.
Exactly.
You want to look at it from a holistic point of view where your overall eating pattern is what's going to affect your health, whether that's positive or negative. Not this one piece of chocolate that you're feeling for at this moment.
Or you're not going to have 10 donuts at one point in time. You may have 1 or 2 small ones. And that's fine as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's important to be satisfied as well, especially when looking at food. So whenever you want a particular food, let's just say I mentioned chow just now. Chow is something in Trinidad we all love.
Definitely.
Let's say you combine a fruit and vegetables, like apple and cucumber. You add your salt, seasonings and whatever, and that satisfies you. You have to ask questions like, what about this is satisfying me in that moment?
Are you actually feeling for that food?
Am I actually feeling to eat that? Or should I eat chips instead? Probably with a dip. It could be hummus or maybe like a sour cream dip,
So whatever we eat essentially should be satisfying.
Yeah.
And that brings up a lot of the rejecting diet culture again because what season is approaching soon.
Yeah.
And coming close to that season, persons, yes, you want to look a specific way, but you restrict yourself a lot. Well, some persons restrict themselves a lot, and in that moment, you told yourself, for example, I'm having salad every day this week, but you go to buy food, and the salad is just not appealing to you at that moment. But in your mind, you would have told yourself, I am supposed to be having this salad.
Exactly.
So instead of that, you're not going to feel satisfied if you eat the salad.
No.
At that moment, you don't want it.
Yeah, and that's where meal combination comes in as well. I will speak about that later, but in terms of like satisfaction, I also look at fullness because it's important to feel full and it's also important to stop. With diet culture, there is a start point and there's a stop point. I start at a certain time to eat, I stop at a certain time. What is I'm having a plate of food, if I feel to eat the whole thing, I eat it. But with fullness, let's just say you go to a family function and they serve you a plate of food, but you don't want to eat out the entire plate. You don't have to. Yeah, so you just eat what you know that your body can handle at that particular point in time.
Yeah, and I think that's important too because even if you take out more than you actually could eat, you don't have to sit there and eat the entire plate and basically force yourself because you're feeling bad to throw away the food. No one says you need to throw it away. I mean, you're at a family function as you said. Ask for a bowl. I'm sure auntie or uncle would lend you a bowl and you just take it away.
Yeah.
And that similar concept could translate in any situation if you're at a restaurant as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat all the food if you start to feel full.
Right.
You could actually just ask for a takeaway container.
For sure. I think that's important. Yeah. And I mean, when we are speaking about intuitive eating as well, I think a very important point because, as you said, this term was coined by a dietitian and a nutrition therapist, right?
Right.
It's important to cope with your emotions. and treat your emotions with kindness, because food doesn't fix feelings, right?
I mean, we try to.
I mean, it can help at a certain point in time, but let's just say you're feeling very sad or anxious or whatever the case is. What you would want to do at that particular point in time, ask your body what it needs. Like, maybe most persons crave a salty or a sweet something.
Yeah.
First thing I reach for is candy, but it's how much candy I'm going to take. Or maybe at that point in time, I was reading that, instead of the candy, you could actually sit at that point, maybe do some meditation before you make that decision. Don't make an impulsive decision,
So redirect yourself.
Redirect yourself, basically, instead of just thinking that, okay, that is what I need,
Yeah, so every time you're stressed, your immediate response should not be, I want this particular food.
Yeah.
Instead, redirect it. Maybe you like listening to music. Maybe a show on Netflix might, get your mind off whatever it is that's stressing you. But also, on the flip side, if you do have that indulgent treat, it's okay.
It's okay. It's definitely okay.
The guilt and the shame that we tend to feel when we do indulge, that's not okay.
No, that's definitely not okay. Yeah.
That's one reason why I really like these principles. It teaches you to be kind to yourself.
Yeah, it's important to find healthy ways to cope, like healthy coping mechanisms, because let's just say, besides food, some persons choose alcohol.
Yes.
It's important to do everything in moderation, I believe. So it's either you choose one thing or the other. And having that holistic approach is important, because at the same time, yes, you are intuitively eating, but you don't want to overdo any particular thing and put your health itself in that direction where it's a negative impact is going to happen.
Agree. So it depends on what you choose at that point to use to cope with your stress.
And there's where respecting your body comes in. Because a lot of persons, especially like models and stuff, when it is you are looking at a show, they choose the person with a very slim body as opposed to somebody with a medium body size. And that would put into your mind, okay, I need to be as thin as that person.
Or this is like the beauty standard.
This is beauty standard. Or even you hear the term skinny jeans when you go to a store. So it's important to try to mask all of that by just sticking to what you know. And each person's genes are different. Their genetic background is different. So you want to try a person, let's just say you are from a particular race or whatever. Sometimes with genes, you may not always be to fit into that body size or shape. So you need to accept that first of all and not try to, do that.
Love yourself. You need to love yourself.
Yeah.
That's really important. And I think also, yes, it's okay to have goals. It's okay to have fitness goals.
Yeah.
But as you said, respect your body in that moment, love yourself, and enjoy the journey. And have realistic goals and expectations.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another point. While you set those goals and have those, expectations for yourself, movement.
Movement is very important, because typically speaking, persons associate movement with exercise.
Like a military regime.
Yes, and you go into the mechanism in your mind that, okay, I am going to exercise. I am going to exercise to lose weight.
Or I just ate something.
Let me go and burn off that calories,
right?
But the thing about it is that movement in itself helps to reduce cortisol level. It helps to reduce stress. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel better as a person. So that is where movement is important. It's important to try to associate movement with being happy.
I'm feeling better.
Right? Yeah. So, and that comes with self-nourishment as well. Use nutrition as a type of science. Because I believe, as I spoke about earlier, you want to try as much as possible to believe food is just not to keep you full, but to give your body the nutrients it needs to function. So let's just say in the morning time you eat something as a slice of toast alone. That is just carbs in itself. And I love using the Caribbean 6 food groups. That's my favorite thing ever, because it shows you that you need these 6 food groups sometimes, or most times actually, to try to eat properly. So let's just say eat the toast with peanut butter instead, or maybe white cheddar cheese. You may feel fuller for a longer period. So you are still having the foods you like, but with something else as well.
Basically complementing it. So exactly. So it's not that, yes, with intuitive eating, no foods are off or no foods are being restricted. However, it doesn't mean that, good old nutrition gets flinged through the window.
Exactly.
They can both coexist. It's not like, you put one in one space in terms of intuitive eating, no restricting of foods, and then in the other space, there's nutrition and, you mentioned 6 food groups and balancing your meals. No, they can both coexist in one. So as we said earlier, nothing is wrong with having that indulgent treat now and then.
Yeah.
But you can also have your healthy and well-balanced meal, and that could also be a part of intuitive eating.
Yeah, because I believe in eating. All I'm a dietitian. You don't eat to live. We live to eat. We love food.
And you have to enjoy it.
And you have to enjoy it, exactly. So everything in moderation, but you are listening. So I love this topic especially because you are listening to your body's call for food.
Right.
You know, you are listening. So when you're hungry, even if it means you're hungry at 10 o'clock in the night, feed your body. You don't wait till the next day. What if in the morning something happens and you can't eat at that point in time? So it's very, very important to try to listen to your intuition. Yeah.
Trust your body.
Your gut.
Yes, exactly. You know, our body was designed in such a way it tells you you're hungry. You honor that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nandani, for that really thought-provoking discussion. I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, we don't have these conversations. Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear reject diet mentality.
Your diet culture.
Or exactly, you know, that's such a sensitive topic, and to talk about it in this space and educate persons on it, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
That being said, what are some like takeaways you think persons should get from this session?
I think it's important, as I said before, to follow what your body needs to function. If chronic diseases are not present, especially, like that's a whole other topic, but let's just say you have things like diabetes or kidney disease. Of course, these things would be different.
Agreed.
But it's important to listen to what your body needs at that point in time. Give your body what it needs.
Yes.
You don't have to do that in a large amount. Moderately, you're not going to eat 20 donuts at once, but you're going to actually satisfy that craving that you have. So it's important to just love yourself as an individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
So enjoy your food.
Enjoy your foods.
Make sure you enjoy it, and also remember, respect yourself.
Yeah.
Honor your hunger, and also reframe the way we speak. That language of I can't or I should not.
Yeah.
Everything has its place.
And it's there.
And exactly. And when we look at it from an overall point of view, as you said, eating that one donut or that piece of chocolate is not going to be detrimental to your health.
Definitely.
So thank you, Nandani.
No problem
Thank
at all.
you for sharing your expertise with us. And yay!